What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my Night of Champions predictions. So SmackDown is over, we just saw that tonight, albeit with some interruptions and the feed sort of cutting out for about half an hour and then going straight back to ad breaks after that. So that's all done and dusted. Julia is the new Women's United States Champion, Tiffany retains, CM Punk came out to Word Life, all of that stuff. We missed the Cody and Randy segment. We got the Wyatt 6, Street Profits ended in a DQ, and some other stuff sprinkled in there, some Bloodline stuff. Roxanne and B-Fab, I think, were on the pre-show, dark match basically, and some other stuff, but that doesn't necessarily matter because we're here to talk about Night of Champions. So this is actually a 6-match card, which is very odd for Mr. Paul Levesque. That's basically the only reason he's there, just to mention that. One of those, well, this match, Dom versus AJ, which was made a while ago, or a week or two ago, isn't on there anymore. Dom has sustained an injury, or he just doesn't want to work at Saudi, to be fair. Could be that. Just like some other people who has now taken it back. So, up first, we will get to Sammy versus Karrion Kross. I think this one's fairly simple. I think Sammy wins it. I don't know if I've not really followed much of this. The most Karrion Kross things I've seen in the last few days are that he doesn't take back bumps, which is basically just a lie because there's obviously a lot of footage of him taking back bumps. Yes, he's not the best in ring. He's maybe a better promo, a better character than he is an in-ring wrestler. But that's the same for a lot of people, you know, your Jey Usos and stuff like that. And that's never held them back. Oh, we also got some Aleister Black stuff, interrupting our truth. We've heard rumours that they're going to give him a push going forward. So yeah, we also got that. I forgot to mention that earlier in the video. But yeah, I cannot see it going any other way. Sorry, just grabbing my whiteboard. Can't see it going any other way than a pretty simple Sammy win, I mean. I don't know if Kross can get him to snap. Obviously, that's sort of his gimmick, you know, in the long term, everyone that Kross interacts with turns bad or, you know, sort of goes a bit mental. But yeah, I see this one pretty simple. Sammy gonna win it, I reckon. So yeah, Sammy for the win is my prediction. Now next I'm going to get onto one which I'm actually not sure about as I say this. That is Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu for the US title. Obviously Jimmy Uso is involved, we saw that on SmackDown. You got JC Mateo obviously involved with Solo. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa not really around at the minute. I don't think. Is Tama injured as well? But yeah, not really seen them, so they don't play a factor in it. So, you know, you've got JC Mateo, FKA Jeff Cobb, on Solo side, and maybe you've got Jimmy on Jacob's side, so it could be balanced out. But then what if Hikuleo comes in on Solo's side and Solo wins the title because of an interference? Personally, I feel like this feud isn't over, and it would make more sense for Solo to win if the feud isn't over and it's going to carry on to SummerSlam. But I just don't really care about it, unfortunately. I think if Jacob wins, that's the best for everyone, and then Solo can go off and do his own thing. Jacob can go off and just be champ. I don't know if we'll maybe get a Jimmy match. I think Jimmy deserves better than what he's been in at the minute. You know, I feel bad for him. His brother's been world champion and was gonna get a US title match at WrestleMania, and then it was given to, it's like he was overlooked in his own family again. So I would like to see Jimmy be involved in something bigger going forward. I don't really want to see more Bloodline stuff though. Apparently Roman Reigns is coming back, not under the Tribal Chief name. There's new sort of nicknames that are being thrown around for him. So it seems like maybe they're trying to distance him from the whole Bloodline stuff. But it's all very entangled over on SmackDown with Solo and Jeff Cobb. Hikuleo, obviously, at some point is going to be coming in. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, Jimmy Uso, Zilla Fatu is another one always thrown around by the IWC. But I'm going to go with Jacob win, to be honest. I think partly just because I want him to win and I want this to move on because I don't really have any interest in it. I think the turn was always obvious that Jacob was going to turn on Solo. I wouldn't have had it at Money in the Bank because I think that moment would have been so much better because, you know, he says that I love you Solo thing for so long. It would have been better if he said I hate you Solo on the mic, I think, but that's just personal opinion. So I'm going to go with Jacob to retain his US title because I think he's also quite early in his reign and I don't see a title change being made at Night of Champions, which is really weird to say given the name is Night of Champions. Night of Champions, every title should be defended. I think that's fairly self-explanatory, but you only have 2 title defenses. Out of how many? There's 2 world titles. There's, if you include both brands, both genders, then you have 4 world titles, 4 mid-card titles, 3 tag titles. That's 11 matches you should have. But obviously, and a speed title as well, maybe, but no. Yeah, 11 titles, 2 of them being defended, and they just throw in King and Queen of the Ring on Night of Champions for some reason, which doesn't make sense, really. But yeah, getting on to King and Queen of the Ring, I'm going to touch on the 2 women's matches. The first one being Rhea versus Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. Personally, I'd like to see Raquel win. I don't know if that's a hot take, probably is. Most people are probably more on board with Rhea than Raquel. I know a lot of people don't like Raquel. I'm not a huge fan of her, but I would prefer to see her win than Rhea. Rhea doesn't need a win, I don't really think, and you can give Raquel a win via a Roxanne Perez thing. And then Rhea looks for a tag partner, maybe for SummerSlam. You get Rhea and Stephanie in a tag team potentially, and you know it looks like you're gonna have to have Raquel and Roxanne be a team together for a while because they're the tag champions, and we don't know what's going on with the tag titles at the minute, and with Liv Morgan away, I feel like it'd just make more sense if they did team up properly, and that would definitely solidify it. Obviously Rhea and Roxanne have had some history, as have her and Raquel, so I would like to see Raquel win. Do I think it's likely? Not really. Albeit I do want her to win. I think I am just going to go with a safe bet and predict Rhea to win, but I wouldn't be very excited by the match either way. But I definitely prefer Raquel to win. Same thing sort of with the Queen of the Ring, Jade versus Asuka. I would like Asuka to win. She could then have, I mean, there's title matches on either side of it that are interesting. Obviously, I am going to predict Jade to win, or that's what I had written down. But before this, maybe I'm going to change my mind here. But I had Jade winning here, and then she goes on to SummerSlam, potentially faces Tiffany Stratton, who is the champion after retaining against Nia Jax tonight. Either, you know, you can have Naomi win the title before then, and then it's Jade versus Naomi, or you have Tiffany versus Jade. Jade can win the title, and then Naomi cashes in on Jade and becomes the champion by the end of the night. That'd be good. I feel like it's sort of been done before, you know, the quick win, the win and then the quick cash in, you know, like Dean Ambrose at Money in the Bank 2016, just pre-planned split after the Rollins Reigns match. You know, it'd be something like that, or the Drew, Damian, Seth cash in, you know. But I think that would be great if Naomi defeated Jade like literally seconds after she won the title. I would quite like that, and that's sort of how I envisioned it. Obviously Asuka could go and win it and then face Io at SummerSlam, but I just feel like there isn't as much in that match. Obviously they've been a part of Damage Control together, but they're both faces at the minute. Tiffany and Jade, albeit, are sort of both faces. They're a little bit edgier than that, you know, like Tiffany could sort of become, they're both sort of tweeners. I feel like Jade is more of a, I don't know. They're both sort of can play either role, I would say, and Naomi's a heel. I think it just works better, you know. Jade's a big force as well to sort of challenge Tiffany with, and you always have Nia looming over for some reason. I hope that's the end of that feud. But yeah, that is my predictions for those. So as of right now, I've got Sammy, Rhea, Jacob, and Jade winning. And then we go on to the two matches that I'm most looking forward to. You have the King of the Ring and the undisputed WWE Championship match, that being CM Punk versus John Cena. Obviously on SmackDown, we just saw CM Punk come out to Word Life and do a bit of, well, definitely planned, so not freestyle, on John Cena. It was a little bit awkward here and there, but it was funny and I liked it. But I don't see Punk winning. It's a bit disappointing how the whole things went down with Punk saying stuff about Saudi blood money, and now he's came out and apologised to them. But I just wish this happened at SummerSlam, you know, but probably going to get Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam, which leads me on to the King of the Ring, where I do think Cody will win. I know a lot of people say this is where you could turn Cody heel. I don't see it happening until probably after SummerSlam when he faces John Cena. I'm not going to say when he beats John Cena because, you know, that's quite a big call. But I do see him beating Randy tomorrow night. Not that we have much to go off tonight because the promo between them was just starting and then the show went off the air for about half an hour. So that's fantastic. But yeah, I am going to predict that Cody Rhodes does in fact get the win and is the King of the Ring. You could have a heel turn from either man here if you really wanted, but you know, you could have Randy turn heel, and then when Cena turns face at the end of the year, Randy's still his last match potentially. But yeah, then we get on to Punk and Cena. Realistically, the winner of this match faces Cody Rhodes or Randy Orton, I suppose, at SummerSlam. But I am going to go with Cena. I just don't see his reign ending at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. I think it's going to happen at SummerSlam, if not a little bit after that. But I do see it happening at SummerSlam and Cody regaining his title probably, which I would be fine with. Definitely be fine with that. Albeit I would have really liked to see CM Punk win it, but I don't see it happening here, to be honest. If it happened at SummerSlam, could have seen it, but I don't think it happens here. And obviously if Triple H's former booking is anything to go off, then Punk sort of getting the upper hand in this final promo battle would suggest that Cena is going to come out on top. And that's what I'm going to predict. I feel like it's the more likely one of the two. He's the heel. He's got more shenanigans to pull. So that sets up John Cena versus the King of the Ring, Cody Rhodes, at SummerSlam. So that is all my predictions. I'll just reel them off. Sami Zayn to beat Karrion Kross. Rhea Ripley to beat Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. Jacob Fatu to successfully retain his United States Championship against Solo Sikoa. Jade Cargill to become the Queen of the Ring over Asuka. Cody Rhodes to become the King of the Ring against Randy Orton. And John Cena to defend his undisputed WWE Championship. That is all from me. So if you have enjoyed, please do like the video. Subscribe with your post notifications turned on to be updated on all my uploads going forward. Obviously tomorrow I will have my Night of Champions reactions out nice and early, probably about 10 o'clock, because the show's on at 6 in the UK, which is really nice. So that's cool. I do like a nice early pay-per-view, a nice early SmackDown that doesn't get ruined after 5 minutes though. That'd also be nice. But yeah, that's everything. As I've said, your thoughts, your predictions, leave them in the comment section down below and let me know what you what you'd like to see, what you see for SummerSlam and stuff like that. And yeah, just any other general thoughts, any other video suggestions you do have. I've got a few different types of videos coming out soon, so stay tuned for that and make sure your post notifications are turned on. And you've subscribed if you haven't already. Hit the like button again. I may as well say everything twice. But yeah, that is all for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy Night of Champions. Bye bye.